The man who ruled the underworld, the man who feared to even look in the eye, was standing in the massive kitchen in his black silk shirt with the sleeves slightly rolled up, showing off his strong forearms. He was cooking. The maids stood in one corner of the kitchen. Their heads were bowed low and their hands were nervously clutching their aprons. For them, this was unthinkable. Their master, the notorious leader Jungkook, was peeling boiled eggs and stirring soup like an ordinary husband. It felt like watching a lion turning into a house cat. They exchanged quick glances but instantly looked down again as they were afraid he might notice. Jungkook carefully picked up one boiled egg and peeled away the shell, his brows furrowed in concentration, which could make anyone fall for him. But suddenly a heavy thud echoed through the quiet room. It was sharp and sudden, like something crashing onto the marble floor. Jungkook's heart raised, and the egg slipped right out of his hand. It fell onto the counter with a dull sound. He froze for a second and then immediately spun around towards the direction of the sound. Wyan! He shouted as he rushed towards the staircase. Every possible terrible scenario flashed. But when he reached the stairs, his brows knitted together in confusion. You were standing there perfectly fine. You are not in pain, you are not hurt. Jungkook blinked as if he was trying to process the sight in front of him. You looked up at him with your big innocent eyes, your pink lips curled into a sheepish smile. Oops, it slipped from my hand, hee hee. You spoke as you tilted your head cutely and pointed at the cardboard box that had toppled from your hand. Jungkook let out a heavy sigh. His chest was rising and falling as the relief washed over him. He rubbed the back of his neck, still catching his breath. You made me scared. He muttered. His voice sounded both annoyance and relief. By the way, why were you even carrying that? What is in it? You let out an exaggerated sigh while brushing the dust from your delicate hands. Ah, this. I was just taking it to the storeroom. I cleaned the drawers today, so I'm throwing this trash away. Jungkook frowned and leaned down slightly as he peeked inside the box. The moment his eyes landed on the stack of thick papers and files inside, his mouth fell open just a little. You call it what? I said it is a trash. Now don't waste my precious time. Let me throw it in the storeroom. You said, pouting slightly. But Jungkook leaned forward and gripped the edge of the box tightly. Mayan, this is not trash. These are my important documents. You blinked at him and gave him a confused look. Ha? Important? This? No way. I saw it was just boring papers with scribbles. I took it as a trash. No, Mayan, you won't. He cut you off in his bit cold voice. I will ask the maid to take it to the study. You don't bother yourself. Now wash your hands and let's have dinner. He said, glancing at your small hands. But you pouted, crossing your arms like a stubborn child. You spoke. No, I will do it myself. I said I will throw it, so I will. You bent down to lift the box again. Jungkook's jaw clenched. I said, leave them. Why? I can't bear this trash in my room anymore. I'm going to throw it right now, or else I won't feel at peace. You said, and we were about to carry the box when Jungkook's arm shoot. A few tears pricked at the corner of your eyes. Wyan. His voice trembled as he looked down at you. Your breath hitched and your hands rested weakly. Living under the same roof for almost 3 months, this was the first time he broke the invisible wall you had built between you two. You both were tied in an arranged marriage, but your heart had remained distant ever since you found out. You had never let him, you never allowed him to step past the boundary you had set. Jungkook's heart was racing madly. At first, you were just an obligation to him, nothing more than a girl chosen by his parents, but somewhere between your little quirks, your innocent giggles, your stubborn arguments, and your unintentional cuteness, you had become his weakness. Stay away, you said in a shaky voice. Taking a deep breath, you gulped down and then ran upstairs to your bedroom. Jungkook heart arched. You pressed your back against the wall and sighed heavily. Ugh, you muttered to yourself, letting out a shaky breath. After a while at dinner, you were sitting on the large dining table, scooping spoonfuls of rice, which trying not to make eye contact with him. He was glancing at you. His lips parted as if he wanted to say something, but then closed again. Finally, with a heavy sigh, he set the fork down gently on the table. You looked up at him, frowning, and then quickly looked down. Wyan, he said softly, looking at your face. You hum without even bothering to look up at him as you stuffed another spoonful of rice into your mouth while chewing the food. Jungkook cleared his throat, his eyes darted away before they returned to your face. Mom was saying that we should go out. Before he could even finish the sentence, your eyes grew wider, and then you choked. The rice you were chewing went down the wrong way, and you coughed so hard that a few grains even spat out. Your face turned red as you struggled to breathe. Jungkook's eyes widened immediately. He stood up from his chair and rushed to you. He quickly grabbed the water glass. Drink it, Ryan, please drink it. With his hands shaking, you took the glass and gulped the water quickly. Your chest rose and fell as you tried to calm yourself, and finally, after a few heavy breaths, you looked up at him. His face was pale with worry and his eyes were a bit watery. You nervously laughed, trying to brush off. Ah, thank you, I am okay now. But Jungkook was not convinced. Don't worry, I already told her we ain't going. He forced a small smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. You looked up at him and gave him a nervous smile. Thank you. That one word thank you hit him like a punch. His jaw dropped. He had offered you something that could bring you closer, but your only reaction was thank you, as if you were relieved not to go. He swallowed hard not to let his disappointment show and forced a tired smile. At night, Jungkook was sitting in his study room. He was trying to focus on his documents, which were placed right in front of him, but his mind was replaying the moments. He let out a sigh, placing his both hands on the desk. On the other hand, you were standing in front of the wardrobe, searching for your gown. As you pushed aside the cloth, your eyes landed on something that made you pause. It was folded neatly at the back of shelf, a red sari. You reached out and pulled it closer. You smiled as you ran your finger over the silky fabric. You remembered instantly it was his mother's sari. She had given it to you before the wedding because she wanted you to wear after the wedding. You held it against yourself, pouting slightly as you whispered, I never tried a sari before. Maybe I should wear it tonight. You thought in your mind, and a shy smile appeared on your lips. It was not like you didn't like Jungkook, in fact, you did. Slowly, you slipped into the red sari. The silk brushed against your skin, clinging perfectly to your curves. You tried adjusting it the way you remembered his mother showing you, pleating the fabric clumsily. You groaned, fumbling awkwardly. You turned to the mirror and blushed as you saw yourself. Ah, why it is so beautiful, you whispered, pressing your hands to your cheeks. Suddenly, the room door opened and Jungkook stepped inside. His dark eyes scanned the room casually at first, but then they landed on you. His jawline tightened instantly. For a moment, he couldn't move. His heart pounded so hard it hurt. You looked up at him with your big innocent eyes blinking nervously as if you had been caught doing something. I was just trying it. Your mom's sari. You stammered softly while fiddling with the edge of the fabric. Jungkook gulped down. He coughed dramatically and quickly looked away. You look beautiful, he managed to say somehow. You bit your lips and smiled nervously. Your cheeks were flushing pink. Thank you, Jungkook smiled. With his jaw clenched, he turned and walked straight into the bathroom. He stood under the shower, letting the icy water cascade down his skin. He closed his eyes. What happened to him all of a sudden? You muttered to yourself before you could put some more pressure on your mind. Your eyes became heavy due to sleep. Yawning, you walked to the bedroom. As Jungkook came back after taking a cold shower, his eyes softened as he looked at your sleeping figure. Your long lashes resting against your cheeks, your lips parted slightly as you breathe in and out. The next morning, Jungkook woke up. He slowly turned his head towards you, but his eyes froze. You were still sleeping. He quickly shut his eyes tightly with jaw clenched. He threw the blanket off himself and stood up, practically escaping to the bathroom. The cold shower hit him again, water cascading down his body as he pressed his arm against the wall. Meanwhile, you stirred awake. You stretched your arms lazily when your eyes fell on the mirror across the room. You blinked in shock. Your cheeks burned red instantly. Aish! Why do I move so much in my sleep? You mumbled, but then you thought for a moment. Maybe I should try more. I look beautiful. You whispered to yourself with your eyes brightening. The thought made you pout cutely and then you smiled, grabbing the bag. You ordered a lot of sarees. Suddenly, Jungkook came out of the bathroom. His hair was wet. He avoided looking at you directly. Scratching his neck, he muttered under his breath, Wayan, come down. Stairs. You turned back to the mirror and sighed. Your reflection looked back at you, cheeks flushed pink. Why am I acting like this? You whispered softly. In the evening, the doorbell rang and you quickly skipped downstairs. A delivery man stood there with a big parcel. You signed for it and paid, carrying the box to your room with both arms. Excitement bubbled in your chest as you set it on the bed and ripped it open. Inside was a stack of beautiful sarees you had ordered red, blue, pastel pink, deep black, even one with golden embroidery. Your eyes lit up as you touched the fabrics. Wow, so pretty! You giggled while holding up a black saree. You couldn't resist and you wore it, adjusting it clumsily but excitedly and twirled in front of the mirror. Suddenly, your phone rang. It was your mother in law's call. You bit your lip nervously, picking it up. Hello, Mom, you greeted softly. Yes, Jungkook told me that you don't want to go outside. What happened, dear? Your heart skipped a beat, your throat went dry as you stuttered. Oh, I. You looked down at the floor, clutching the edge of the sari nervously. Dear, what is the matter? Your cheeks burned instantly, you swallowed hard and whispered, I'm shy. You must give him a chance, he deserves it, dear. I understand, you whispered softly. Good girl, don't be afraid of him. He's just your husband, trust him. When the call ended, you sat on the edge of the bed. You stared at your reflection in the mirror, dressed in the black sari. You thought to yourself, can I really do? You bit your lower lip, hugging the edge of the sari around yourself. The door creaked open and Jungkook stepped inside. As soon as his eyes landed on you, his heartbeat raced, his jaw tightened instantly, and his Adam bubbles apples bubbled. His dark eyes lingered. You looked up at him and stood up from the bed. Your lips trembled. He muttered lowly, almost accusingly. You wore it again, he managed to say. Ahem. Jungkook nodded his head, looking down. I need to take shower. Actually, today was so busy. I need to freshen up. He said, stuttering. As he was about to take a step towards the bathroom, you quickly called out, stop, Jungkook. Jungkook frowned and turned around, leaving the bathroom door handle. You gulped down and then forced yourself to take smart steps towards him. Jungkook was standing there frozen, looking at you. Jungkook, I'm sorry for being so rude to you. I should have understood that sooner, but I sincerely apologize. It is all because of my stupid shyness which didn't let come. I'm sorry. His jaw clenched harder and his lips pressed into a thin line. You close your eyes, waiting. Those words shattered the last piece of restraint. A change high him, Jungkook spotted, and then he smiled. It was not his usual cold smirk. It was soft, full of relief and overflowing emotions. All your fear melted away when he looked into your eyes. For the first time, you felt safe, you felt wanted, you felt loved. After a while, you were fallen asleep.